Red lipstick makes me feel powerful, but it also makes me think of when Jake Gyllenhaal didn't show up to Taylor Swift's 21st birthday. Hi besties, why yes I am wearing a pajama shirt in this video because it's the comfiest thing that I own. Deal with it. Today I'm stealing an idea from YouTube's resident librarian, Jack Edwards, because he recently made a video where he read the highest rated and lowest rated book on his TBR. I have this crazy habit that I'm sure you all can sympathize with, which is buying books and then wanting to read them and then getting distracted by other new books, and so buying more books and then just some of them fall through the cracks and you just don't have time to read them. I've also been an avid reader since kindergarten, so I have books on my shelf that have been there since middle school, since high school, that I have not yet read, which is an issue because I want to. I've gotten rid of a ton of books that I just have accepted the fact that I'll never get around to, but I still have a substantial amount on my shelves that I genuinely do really want to read. But I thought doing this kind of video that Jack did, reading the highest and lowest rated books on my TBR, would be a good way to get through some of my actual physical books that I haven't read instead of buying new books that I will then relegate to my TBR shelf once again. If you guys like this video, I'm thinking I'll do a series and do this with each of the genres that are on my shelf. The one I'm gonna do today is adult fiction, but then I also have a TBR shelf of YA, so I could do another video where I read the highest and lowest on that shelf. If you end up liking this, let me know and I'll make the other ones. But today I'm sticking with adult fiction because I'm pretty sure it's the largest section on my TBR shelf. I have put in, as far as I know, all of my TBR books from my adult fiction TBR shelf. I've put them all in a list on Goodreads. I'm gonna sort them by highest rated and then lowest rated and see what books I'm reading. I'm a little afraid. I'm gonna give you guys my initial predictions of what I think might show up. A Little Life could be up there for highest rated. I also think Hamnet by Maggie O'Farrell could be really high up. It won the Women's Prize this year or last year. I've just heard nothing but really good things about it, so that could be high up there. I feel like Americana by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie could be really high up there. I know it's a super popular book and a lot of people read it in school now, which could also be a reason it wouldn't be high up there because people don't like what they have to read for school, but I don't know. As for the lowest rated ones, I could see Emma Who Saved My Life being really low rated just because I've never heard of it outside of I found it in a bookstore one time and it sounded interesting and so I bought it. So I have no idea if it's any good. I feel like Night Film by Marisha Pessl could be low on the list just because I feel like that book's kind of divisive. A lot of people really liked it and it was really popular at one point, but then kind of a lot of people started saying they didn't like it. So I feel like that could have brought the ratings down. Kind of a wild card answer because Donna Tartt is one of my favorite authors, but I feel like The Little Friend by Donna Tartt could be pretty low because I've just heard people say that it's not nearly as good as her other two books. I still want to read it, so I'd be fine if it was the lowest one. Those are my initial guesses. I also know I tend to not agree with ratings a lot of times because I'm just unique and special, which is a really cool thing about me. No, just kidding. It's because I find it really difficult to find joy in things. So, okay, let's find out what they are. Average rating. Oh, okay. I'm actually super impressed with myself because the three that I expected to be at the top are in the top 5, but 1,000 Splendid Suns by Colin Hussini is the number 1. Oh God, it's gonna fucking wreck me and I know it, but I also know I think I'm gonna really like this book. I read The Kite Runner in high school, really loved it. A lot of people have told me that 1,000 Splendid Suns is even better. So I'm ready to be destroyed by this book. Okay, I'm really excited about that. Oh, and it's not as long as I thought it was. I was like, oh, it's gonna be a chonker. It's not even 400 pages. If I'm not mistaken, this book follows women that are dealing with the kind of political turmoil and traumatic events of Afghanistan's setting over the past 30 years. I think this one is about a group of friends, a group of friends who are women who are dealing with all this together. I could be wrong about that. We'll find out when I read it. Such a pleasant surprise. I'm kind of scared to scroll down and see what the lowest rated one will be. Oh, let me reverse it. I think I can reverse it. What's the lowest rated? I'm scared to look. Oh my God, I was right on the money. It's The Little Friend by Donna Tartt. And okay, Emma Who Saved My Life is also down there. And Night Film is towards the bottom. Wow, I was really quite on the money with my predictions and I'm proud of myself for that. But oh my god, I'm gonna read another Donna Tartt. I just finished The Secret History like a few days ago for my Dark Academia video. At the end of this video, I will have read her entire discography. What is it? What is it? Portfolio? What is the word for like works? Like I will have read her entire works, her complete works. That's exciting. I'm actually really excited to read both of these. Oh my gosh. All the reviews are so bad. One of these reviews says, must a novel be good? Is it not enough for it to be written by Donna Tartt? The answer is no, it is not enough. Which I literally said earlier. I was like, if it's written by Donna Tartt, I'll like it. We're gonna put that to the test. I'm scared. I'm also excited to read this one because it's set in the South. Insane cover, and I actually am obsessed with this cover. I think it's so cool. I feel like a lot of people will think it's really ugly and creepy, but I think it is creepy. I think it's supposed to be. I've heard that this one's really dark, so I'm excited about that. The little friend follows this young girl named Harriet. When she was just a baby, her brother's body was found hanging from a tree outside, and his killer was never found. Harriet decides to solve the murder, but it's supposed to be really dark. It's not like fun young girl murder solving. In true Donna Tartt fashion, this one is absurdly long. No, I was hoping it would give me short ones. This one is 555 pages. I hope it's good. I am reading both of these this week. I want you to comment down below which one you think I'm gonna like more. A lot of you have actually told me to read 1,000 Splendid Suns, so I think I'm gonna start with 1,000 Splendid Suns. Let the vlog commence. Almost 200 pages into 1,000 Splendid Suns, and it's fantastic so far. It's really good. His writing is just so beautiful. I'm wondering what's going to happen. What a stupid thing to say about a book I'm reading. I'm wondering what's going to happen. Yeah, duh, of course I am. That's why I'm reading it. I guess I just mean like a lot has already happened, so I'm wondering where it's going to go from here. The first part followed a girl named Miriam into her young adulthood, and then the second part followed a girl named Layla into her young adulthood, and in part 3 it's following both of them. I am having a bit of a hard time following what's happening politically, but it's not bothering me because I'm understanding the tone of what's happening based on what the characters are thinking and feeling, so I don't feel like I necessarily need to understand all of the intricacies of what's happening politically. I have a little under 200 pages left, and my goal is to finish it today. I'll keep you updated. Okay, update. I finished 1,000 Splendid Suns this morning. It was fantastic. One of the best straight up well-crafted books I've ever read, probably. Everything tied together so nicely, and he planted the best little clues that would pay off in the end. It was just really, really, really good. I'll talk more about it later. Today, my goal is to read like 300 pages of The Little Friend. Good Lord, that's so much. We'll see. I might download the audiobook because I do have some stuff I need to do today. I need to go to like TJ Maxx or Marshalls. My sister moved to England a few months ago, and it'll be the first Christmas that we are not together, so I am going to send her her stocking. I need to kind of put that together today and get it in the mail this week. I have read about 60 pages of The Little Friend. I finished the first chapter. So far, I think it's pretty compelling. There's a lot of family dynamics that I find interesting. It's almost like Southern Gothic a little bit. It's set in Mississippi, and you know, it's really dark themes. So there's an element of it that feels almost Faulkner-esque. I like the characters so far. Some of them suck, but like in an interesting way, I guess. She has been sitting with me while I've been reading it. What are your thoughts, Athena? Do you like it so far? Good nap from it? Good nap? Okay, be free. I kind of need to stop by the bookstore as well, so maybe I'll do that. I thought I would show you my fit. This is one of my favorite shirts. I found it from Goodwill. I have these like black jeans, my magenta Tims, which are like my favorite shoes I've ever owned. Let's buy some books.
And you were tossing me the car keys, fuck the patriarchy.
I'm like hoping nobody sees me because I still have not gotten comfortable vlogging. But then I remember, what the fuck are they gonna do about it? Nothing. What can they do about it? Nothing. A slightly disappointing trip to the bookstore. They only had one of the 4 books I was looking for. So I picked up The Sun Also Rises by Ernest Hemingway, which I'm reading for my Jess Mariano from Gilmore Girls. Jesus Christ. And I had to choose a Hemingway. And I'll be honest with you, I just chose the shortest one that wasn't The Old Man and the Sea. There's somebody pulling it next to me. Also, I was looking for 2 Christmas presents. There's a book I really want to get for someone. I can't tell you what it is or who it's for because I feel like they would know immediately. I also got cookies. They really understood the assignment when Starbucks was like, we need you to sell more shit. Every single time they give me that, buy 1 cookie, get 1 half off, I go straight to the cafe. I'm like, yes, I will do that. Do you ever read a few pages and then have no idea what you just read? Because that just happened to me. It was like all of a sudden there were polar bears talking. I think it was like a dream sequence, but that wasn't clear. I read them and I learned something about myself, which is, oh, my plant is dying. That's not what I learned about myself. I am in fact exactly like other girls because my thoughts on these 2 books pretty much perfectly aligned with what I saw from the Goodreads reviews and the ratings. First, I will talk about 1,000 Splendid Suns by Colin Hussini. This book was incredible. One of those books where I finished it and I was like, wow, somebody wrote that. All of the threads that like wove through the whole story were so solid. I cared so much about these characters and it was like the perfect length. I finished it and I was like, I don't want any more, but if there was any less, I would be upset. Everything about this I feel like was just executed really wonderfully. I did love getting the perspective of these women who are going through their family struggles, their identity issues, loneliness and grief and trauma, but with the added kind of lens of being a woman and the different hardships that would have brought about in Afghanistan in the 80s, whereas the kite runner mostly followed a boy into his young adulthood. I thought the characters in this were crafted so wonderfully. He did such a great job of painting pictures of really complex characters. So characters that you would love would do things that you disagreed with, or characters that you hated would do things that you maybe supported. And so just kind of keeping you on your toes of who to trust and who to believe. That's something that the 2 main female characters in this book are struggling with, of not knowing who to trust or having the rug pulled under them when they think they can trust somebody. And so I think he did a really good job of incorporating that into the narrative for the reader, not knowing who to trust. There were some paragraphs in this book that were breathtaking. A man's heart is a wretched thing. It isn't like a mother's womb. It won't bleed. It won't stretch to make room for you. How does somebody think of that in their brain? And then there was this paragraph about grief. She would find it increasingly exhausting to conjure up, to dust off, to resuscitate once again what was long dead. There would come a day when the details of his face would begin to slip from memory's grip, when overhearing a mother on the street call after her child by his name would no longer cut her adrift. She would not miss him as she did now, when the ache of his absence was her unremitting companion, like the phantom pain of an amputee. It's so good. It's so good. It might be a new favorite. I wouldn't have changed a thing about it. Read this book. Look up trigger warnings for both of these books because difficult things happen in them. So take care while you're reading. Wow. Highest rated? Yeah, I get why. Can Donna Tartt do wrong? She can. This book would have been fantastic if it was 300 pages. But instead it was 555, and I felt every one of them in my bones. To be fair, I also did give myself a really impossible task of reading about 470 of those pages in one day, which was yesterday. And I do feel as though a small piece of my soul has been ripped from me and placed into this book like a Horcrux because of the slog that it was to try to do this in one day. There were just so many sections that weren't necessary to tell the story, and beyond just not being necessary for the plot, they didn't really give me anything that I didn't already have. There were moments in this book where Donna Tartt pulled out her pen and wrote her ass off. But unlike with 1,000 Splendid Suns, it didn't feel like the whole book had that same sort of tone, and so it fell a little bit flat for me. The characterization of the people in this book was awesome. Harriet, the main character, and her family were so well painted, even though it was a sprawling cast of characters, so we might not have gotten a ton of time with each person. I knew exactly who they were, and I thought that was really impressive. I will say I thought it was going to be more of a murder mystery. That's what it said it was going to be, but really what happens is that Harriet decides towards the beginning of the book who she thinks killed her brother, and then just tries to go after him for the rest of the book. So there's not a ton of like clues, and I was excited to kind of follow the clues and try to figure it out along with her, but I didn't really get to do that. I don't think it was as good as her other books. This felt kind of like a draft of something that could be really great, but I wanted her editor to go in there and really kind of hatchet it up and be like, we don't need this, we don't need this. Very middle of the road for me. I'm not mad that I read it, but it's definitely not showing off everything that Donna Tartt can do. So it turns out I'm exactly like other girls. I share their exact opinions. So maybe Goodreads can be trusted. I would really be interested in doing this video again, but with another genre. Let me know what genre I should read next. I have YA, classics, and nonfiction. So whatever you want me to do the highest and lowest rated books of next, let me know. Follow me on Instagram and Goodreads if you want to hang out beyond just this lovely YouTube bubble. Let me know if you've read either of these books and what your thoughts were. Like this video and subscribe down below. It helps me out so very much. I hope you're having a good week. In case you haven't heard it today, I love you. Bye.